Hello everybody. I made this page for Inktober, and Cindy liked it and wanted me to show out how to do the Inktense, making it into a wash. So I made another page and I filmed it and I fast forwarded it, and so now I'm going to narrate it on the way through. So I started with my archival ink over a Tyvek stencil that I cut. And obviously it didn't work good, so I went and got my little old pouncer thing, and that worked a little bit better. But it was tedious, but anyway, I kept up with it, and it worked. I wanted to just get some texture and something on the back of that before I started. I'm not a drawer, so I'm using devices. I'm using stencils. This is a stencil, let's see if I have the name. Cedar Canyon Textiles is this stencil of the autumn leaves, oak leaves. So I'm just tracing that, and then in a little bit I'll get out my Inktense pencils, but you get to go through all this while I'm doing that, and then that's good. I don't want to put a third one on. Think about it. So what I'm going to do is get this little stencil. Well, I decided not to use that one. I'm going to use the smaller one, and it's a Crafter's Workshop stencil. craftersworkshop.com, TCW309S. So I'm using that one and putting my little birdies on there. For people who want to do mixed media art, I think, and who don't feel comfortable trying to sketch a bird on it. I mean, how hard can that be? A bird on a branch? I should be able to do that, right? But anyway, I'm a lot happier when I do it this way. So that's what I'm doing. Now here come my Inktense. I'm going to start in that blue range. I want my birds to be blue to contrast with that kind of warm tone in the back, and the reds I'm going to put on my leaves. So this I probably could have sped up to about 8 times instead of 4 times, and I may still do that, but then I'll have to record this over again. So now I'm looking, what color do I want those, what color do I want the other bird? I want it a little bit different. I want them a little bit different. What I didn't show you because it's fast forwarded is that I'll use these like a watercolor palette, and I'll just spritz the area of colors that I want to use with my water bottle, and spritz them and wet them like you do watercolors. Now I'm looking for the color I want for my branches. I'm looking for a different color than the background, but something that can look like branches. This is my first video I've done with my new camera, so obviously I need to do some figuring out. Next time I'm going to put my media on the right hand side of this picture and do the drawing a little bit farther away from where I normally work. So I need to mark my board so that I know that I'm in the shot, because I just put this camera up and I haven't figured out how to do it. So now what I'm doing, this is what Cindy wanted me to show you. I'm just scraping that with a nutmeg scraper or any small scraper. So dedicated to your studio. So I just scraped off some of those Inktense blocks into one of the cups that's in the block, the thing where you keep your blocks. And just scrape it into the little pocket there, and then added water. I had my hand over it when I added the water, because if you just spray water, the spray will make that go all over the place. So you got to be careful with that. Here I'm just adding my color. Just, basically, I've gotten I've got several brushes of fine tip, but this brush is like a 1/2 inch wide water brush. And I like, in case you didn't notice, I like putting Inktense on with my water brushes. It really makes it easier to manage. Now here I fuss around with putting some leaves on here through that, and it's just too wet. So now I haven't figured out how to do it. I do it about 3 times. So here I'm adding more color to that, making it a little bit redder to have these leaves contrast. I don't have a name on this stencil. It was fun because I saw somebody on YouTube just using the stencil on her things last night. Anyway, so here I get it down where I kind of put it on the, see, look, I'm still making mud pies. Some of it I get on there, oh, it's okay. Once I figure out how to dip it into the little well of water and put it over on my board, there I put some in like that. That sort of is okay. But still, it's like, no, that's not what I want either. What am I going to do? There, I'm getting the right idea. It's got to be drier. It's got to be much drier. So that works. Now I'm happy. God. It takes me a while to learn. But I learn. I can learn. We can all learn. So now I'm getting started on coloring my leaves. I want to get that. I start with that wonderful maroon. Isn't that wonderful? Let's see. What color is that? I think that might be number 700. And if it is, I think that's the color. Yeah, that's 700. And I use that color in, you have that available in the pencils and in the small Inktense blocks. So that's a great color. I use that color a lot. That color is, I think, either 100 or 200. I'm adding a yellow in there. I'm liking that. And then I go to the yellows and oranges. See, I've spritzed it with my thing. I want to make this one a little bit more orange. Out of this green, off this green. Gotta know where I am. Trying to figure out where I am. See there? I thought, oh yeah, put it back up there where you can see it. I didn't like what I was doing with that one leaf there. I want to put a vein in the center of it, but I'm not sure exactly where. So there, I squeezed out a little drop of water onto my mat, because working with the Inktense, you kind of need to add the water. And so I dip into that little bit of water on my palette and dip back into the block. And I'm not very, let's see, I'm putting some of that red color up in the bird. Why not? Now I'm putting my piece of paper into the wet place on the mat. Why not? Here's where I'm going and getting my, I want to get my thing in there. That didn't work too good. Okay, let's see what else. Now I'm thinking I want to see more of that tree in the background. I don't see enough of it. So I'm just going to get some kind of outlines of the shadows of that tree. I don't know. I'm not sure if that was particularly useful, but I did it. I mean, basically useful. I'm not sure I liked it that much when I got done. But then that made me think of swirls in the wind in the autumn, swirls. So that's what happened there. And I want those veins to be a little darker. These are Pitt pens I'm using. There was a conversation on one of the threads I follow, maybe All Things Creative, about the Pitt pen artist brushes, big brush. And these are all the little brush, but they're brushes and they're really juicy and wonderful. And one thing that's good is that I could buy them individually at my local art store. So I haven't invested. Well, probably I've invested about $30 in the ones I have now, but I didn't do it all at once, so it was a lot easier for me to manage. Just adding a little more Pitt color to my guys. This whole thing got started because Inktober is coming up, number one. And number two, I signed up and received my sketchbook for the sketchbook project. And it wasn't until then that I read the fine print that they say, please don't use gesso or acrylic paints on these. And since those are my mediums, gesso and acrylic paints, I thought, what in the heck am I going to do? So here's where I wanted the swirls on there behind the leaves falling. So anyway, so the previous page and this page are my practicing with Inktense to see if I can actually work an Inktense in that book. So I think I'm ready to practice an Inktense in that book. Inktense and Pitt pens, that's all ink. So I'm good. I'm cool with that. So here I'm wanting to just outline those. I have my magenta pen in the fine liner. It's nice, these Pitt pens you can get in the fine liner, you can get in the brush tips. And that's good because it's all useful stuff. Now I'm just adding darken, using that Pitt pen. What color is that one? Love those Pitt pens, those brush. Kind of, they're new to me. That's green gold. Green gold number 268 was that color that I was adding. It's a really beautiful color. Now I think I just want to kind of outline those little areas. You know, they have little edges to where they're decaying and getting dried. So I added that on. Then I decided I've got to add all those Got to clarify all those edges on everything. I probably don't need to leave all this in here, but I'm not sure how to edit yet, so I don't know how to take it out. But I sure don't need it all in here, so I presume you're going to take care of yourselves and fast forward as you need to, because you don't need to watch all this. Not doing anything. So there I'm kind of spacing out the words I want to put on there. This is about letting go. And that is a song that I like. So I've already penciled that on there. I'm not doing this. I didn't film this, but I first got a piece of deli paper and put it over the area where I wanted to put the words, and then I wrote them on top of the deli paper so I could see the spacing where things needed to start. So the words of that song are holding on comes easily. We don't need to learn it. Practice letting go, letting go, letting go. Then I go back. I think this is a CC creation, CC technique, or everybody's done this technique probably, of enhancing your own handwriting by widening the part on the downstroke. Then I realized I'd forgotten to erase my pencil lines, so I go back and erase my pencil lines. Because yes, I put the words on lightly in pencil before I start this. You don't probably care about this either. I have to say on the audio portion of this, I'm actually singing the song to you, which I don't think I should do because I bet YouTube won't like it. Besides, there's my voice. There's that problem. So anyway, we're about at the end of this. I do put up a slide of it at the end again. And all is well. I love the verse of the song. It starts out, in love, practice only this. Practice letting each other go. Practice letting each other go. Holding on comes easily. We don't need to learn it. Holding on comes easily. We don't need to learn it. Practice letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go. Good. It's all good. I go back after I turn off the camera and do a little bit of shading, shadowing underneath the birds, underneath the leaves, just to give them a little pop from the background. Not a lot. I obviously have things to learn about holding this piece still so that I can show you. This is using my first overhead webcam, and the webcam was a gift of Leslie McGrath. And so I really appreciate the gift because now I can do process videos and I will get better at them. I think. I think I'll get better. And there are the words to Harmony Christmas song, letting go, practice, letting go. Blessings, everyone.